This week, we are fortunate enough to have Vic Moss with us to talk about drones and RVs and campgrounds. It's something that we're starting to see a lot more of. So I invited Vic. Vic is an architectural and aerial photographer. He also serves on the FAA, is it the FAST team?
FAST team, drone advisory committee. Yeah, a number of different things. Absolutely.
Vic it's suffice to say, Vic is very active in the drone community and has been very influential in shaping government policy, not just at the federal level, but I know you've been involved in some community-based policy decision making, and a big advocate for drone safety and for drone service providers. So I'm really happy that Vic's agreed to come on and talk to us about drones and what we need to know about campgrounds. So thanks for joining us, Vic.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. I love talking about drones, obviously. So if I carry on, just say, Vic, you're getting boring. Let's move on.
I honestly, I think Vic and I could probably chat about this for a long time, but we'll try to keep it concise for you guys today. The first thing I want to start off by asking you is, if you're an RVer or a camper and thinking about getting a drone because you want to get photos or video of your campsite, what do you need to know from a rules perspective? Like, what do I need to do to be in compliance? The basics.
Yeah. Let's see. The last time I checked, I think it was like 75 pages of rules in the register. So we won't go there. But actually the hobby rules are actually pretty easy. You only have to follow 8 rules. We won't even go into all of those because some of them are kind of arcane. But you have to register your drone. If it's over 250 grams, or as the FAA says, 0.55 pounds, they like to use the two sticks of butter. That's pretty much a half a pound. If your drone weighs more than 2 sticks of butter, you need to register it. But if you're going to use it recreationally and it's under that, don't worry about it. The Mavic Mini is probably the most popular by DJI. It's the most popular smaller drone under 250 grams. So you need to do that. You need to register it. You need to do things like don't fly over people. Actually, nobody can fly over people, even people like myself, without a waiver, unless you have a very small drone now. Those rules have changed for the commercial side. Keep your drone in line of sight. You always want to make sure you can see where your drone is. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, if let's say you're in a campground near a city, you might have helicopter traffic, things like that. But the smaller drones, even if you're out nowhere near a city, you're going to have fun things like eagles and hawks and things like that see drones as a threat, especially in nesting season. I've personally had my drone chased, never had it attacked, but I've had my drone chased, I think just off the top of my head, like 5 or 6 times by birds that didn't want me around. And pigeons are horrible as well, but they're just dumb and sit there to circle you. I'm not quite sure why. I haven't figured out a pigeon yet, but like one will start and then a bunch of them will join them and you'll have like 15 or 20 pigeons just circling your drone. So you want to be careful there. If you do have a bird coming at you, your friend, you just up is your friend always. So just push that left stick forward and the drone will go up as fast as you can, because as a rule, birds have a hard time attacking up. So worst case scenario, if they do get your drone, they're not going to get the propellers and they're not going to get hurt. And that's obviously pretty important. If they're going to attack down on you, the drone and the bird both lose. We never want to see wildlife hurt like that. And most of the time, they just want you to go away. So you go up and get out of the way and come home. Take a big, long loop and come home and come back to where you took off from. Let's see, what else? Line of sight. If you're near an airport, you need permission. Don't fly near airports. You're not going to be camping near airports anyway.
I hope not.
Yeah. And then let's see. That's pretty much, those are the basics. If you follow those, register, keep it in line of sight. Don't fly over 400 feet. That's the other one. And don't fly over people. You should be good.
I think a couple things to be aware of for campers is you're not going to be able to fly in a national park.
Oh, don't do that.
State parks, it's going to vary by the state. So you're going to need to find out. Pennsylvania is really restrictive.
Colorado is.
There's only a couple in Pennsylvania, and none of them are on my side of the state. So Ohio is not as restrictive, thankfully. So
Right. That's kind of nice. Yeah, most states are. Most state parks are. A lot of cities are as well, city parks. So you have to be careful there. I'm here, like I said, I'm near Denver. I'm in Lakewood, Colorado, Jefferson County. We have a couple of campgrounds near a lake near my house. I could actually go camping like 5 miles from my house if I felt like it. I don't want to be that close to my bed and not sleep in it. But and they don't allow drones there because it's a county park. So you have to be really careful and ask the rangers. They'll let you know.
Hmm. The other thing I see people not aware of sometimes are flying if there's a wildfire in the
Mm-hmm.
area. And I know you feel pretty passionate about that, as do I.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Don't do that. There's what's called a TFR, which is a temporary flight restriction. And what happens is if the firefighters see a drone, they're going to cancel all the air support. And then, you lose acreage, you could lose lives, you could lose homes. So in a situation like that, yeah, it's cool. It's like, oh, fire, what's going on? It's really great and really easy. Put the drone up a couple hundred feet and you can see what's going on. Well, if a firefighter sees it, um, you're going to be in trouble if you're caught, because that is I want to say a $37,000 fine.
Wow.
And that's not the right number. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. It's a large fine that would buy a pretty nice trailer. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. It's you live the reality out there when
Mm-hmm.
people ground, flights have to be grounded
Yep.
because
Yep.
of drones. So I see it every time there's a fire. The FAA tweets out a little picture,
Yep. If
if
you
you
fly,
fly,
we
we
can't.
can't.
Bingo. It's a great advertising campaign.
Yeah.
And it's true. It really is true, to the point where actually I feel it's so important that I actually 2 years ago helped to write a law here in Colorado that makes it a state crime to interfere with any kind of first responder response by using your drone. So they come to you and they tell you to land and you don't land. That's a state crime. So it's a land use issue. It's not an airspace issue, but we won't get into that. I'm kind of passionate about nobody trying to control the airspace except the FAA. But
Right.
there are states and cities, everybody are within their rights to tell you where you cannot fly from.
Yes. Speaking of that, is there an app you recommend for somebody who's a hobbyist to use?
I would say the best app out there actually is Before You Fly. It's an FAA app. So it's just the number 4 and then letter U and then fly. Before You Fly. Real easy to find. It goes on your phone or your tablet, or they actually even have a website now. They put that out about 2 months ago, and that'll give you a really good idea about things like whether there's a TFR, what airspace you're in. If you're near, if you're in a national park, it will not give you it won't dive down into the state and local rules, because keeping a database of that is brain damage. Things change so fast on the ground around, everywhere. You've got all these different little political subdivisions. So there's not really an app for that. But the FAA's Before You Fly is a really good app that every drone pilot should have on their phone. I've got it on my phone. But yeah, it's a great little app.
Yeah, absolutely. I know people are always wanting to know what's the app for
Mm-hmm.
finding this out. I know they're going to want to know for the drones as well. So that, I think, is a great summary of the rules, Vic.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a point at which somebody should start getting what's called Part 107? And
Sure.
that's, can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Drone flights are divided into 2 sectors. You've got the recreational. Actually, you've got recreational and non-recreational. There's technical terms involved, which we will not get into. But if you want to just go out and have fun and fly for yourself and literally fly recreationally and have fun, you don't need your 107. You don't get really a great big boost in extras in the rules that you have to follow, or that you get a little bit of relief from as a 107. There's a couple, but they're really minor for somebody who just wants to go out and have fun. But if you're doing something like what you do, if you're going to use a drone on a blog, you need to have your 107. And but if you're just going to fly around, say, oh, look where I camped this time, and go up and take a video or take a picture and put it on your YouTube or your Instagram page or whatever, and it's just you and you're showing off to your friends and your family and stuff like that, you don't need your 107. There is some confusion about that. It's called a 107 because it's 14 CFR Part 107 is the rules that make the certificate, and it's just easier to say 107. And unless you're really planning on making money on it, or you're using it for content for a channel, if you're doing anything outside of pure recreation, you really do need that 107.
Yeah,
And it's not that hard to get.
No, and there's a lot of confusion. People
Mm-hmm.
think, well, I'm not selling my services as a drone
Mm-hmm.
pilot, so it's not commercial. But the FAA has a different definition, I've learned, than even the National Forest or national parks, how they define commercial use.
It's
So,
not even that. It's just, is it recreational? Yes. You're what's 44809. That's the recreational exception. And if it's not recreational use, you're 107. There's no gray area there.
Yeah.
Money doesn't have to change hands, or it doesn't have to be any betterment or furtherance of business, I think, is a term I see thrown around a lot, which is left over from the older days of 333, which won't mean much to your audience. But you're either recreational or you're not. No gray area. That's it. No confusion whatsoever.
Yeah. So
I mean, there are other rules, but that's the cut that affects 99% of all drone flights out there. You're recreational or not.
What about night? Can hobbyists fly at night?
They can. What you have to do is follow what's called a CBO, or a community-based organization. And I just had a bug fly through there. Go away. CBO rules or safety rules. Those are not quite established yet. So basically at this point, what the FAA and people like myself are telling people is you need to have lights on your drone that show altitude and attitude. Altitude, obviously, how high are you? And then attitude is which way you're going. So like on most drones, you have red lights on the front and green lights on the back. I know that's backwards from humanity, but that's how it is in the drone world. And so if you can see both red lights, it's coming at you. If you can see both green lights, it's going away from you. And if you got a red light and a green light, well, if you're going forward, the drone is going in the direction of the red light. So that's fine for recreational stuff at night. For the commercials, for the 107 stuff, yeah, you have to be update, and you have to have your currency, and we won't get into that because people don't really care about 107 yet. And if you do, I'm easy to find on the internet. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about that.
Like you said, it's not that hard. I just, did the recurrent training, and
that's awesome.
It's really put together very well. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was really happy. That's brand new this month or last month, actually about a month ago. On the 6th of April, they dropped that on us. And it was great.
Awesome. So if you're thinking about getting a drone and you're a novice, first drone, you just want to throw it up for some campsite photos, what drone do you recommend, Vic?
Well, let's start with ones I won't, because that always gets people in trouble. Oh, look, here's a $200 drone on eBay, or $200 drone on Amazon or Walmart or whatever. Don't buy that one. You're not going to be happy with it. You're going to get frustrated with it. It's not going to fly very well. You're going to crash it. You're going to get mad, and you're never going to want another drone. And that's unfortunate, because drones are awesome. Obviously, you and I do this a lot. And if you've got a good drone, it depends on how much you want to spend. I mean, you can go out and spend $7,500 and get yourself a nice Inspire 2 setup with multiple lenses and detachable cameras and all kinds of fun stuff. But you can go as little as $600 and get a nice little Mavic Mini 2 made by DJI. Autel put some nice ones out. Parrot put some nice ones out. But I would expect to spend about $500 to $600. You want to get some extra batteries. Since you're camping, you're gonna be mobile a lot, so you want to get a nice case. And it's the Mavic Mini, and the Mini 2 is what it is. It's the new one. Is a nice little drone. You get 4K video. You can get shoot RAW, which if you're into photography, that means you can shoot RAW, or you can shoot JPEG. And it's just a fun little drone. It's not great in wind, because, if you weigh 250 grams, you're not going to be great in wind either. But it does a really good little job. It's still got its GPS. So, you let go of the sticks, it stops where it's going. It hovers very nicely. And it's a good little drone. If you got a little bit more to spend, maybe $1,000, get the new Mavic Air 2S. That's a great little drone. I think maybe that's $1,200. I can't remember now. And you can go up to like a couple grand to get the Mavic 2 Pro. They're great little drones. Autel has the Evos out there. The Evo 2 actually just came down in price. They have a 4K and a 6K. The 6K is actually the better drone. So it depends on how much you want to spend. If you just want to spend $500, get a Mini 2. If you want to spend more than that, Autel, DJI. Parrot is okay. It's not a bad little drone. They're made by a French company, and they're a fun little drone to fly. For hobbyists, they're fine.
Awesome. So I think those are the questions I see the most from people. I fly the Mavic 2 Pro because I'm trying to get the higher quality landscape images. And what's the craziest thing you've ever gotten back to your house, and you're going through your footage and you're like, how'd that get in there? Or how did I not see that?
I can tell you one that I didn't get, which I'm really bummed about. Let's go back to the birds a minute. I was because if I'm doing video, I usually practice first. I'll do it 3 or 4 times or 2 times or whatever to get the shot I want, to get my feeling on the sticks. And so I was pulling away from a school we were shooting. I'm looking down, all of a sudden, 2/3 of my frame is full of a hawk. And it did not like what I was doing. And luckily it just said, oh, I guess I don't really click here, and left. But I was like, why didn't I have the exposure running? I was so bummed I didn't see that. But probably the funniest thing I ever got was we were doing a job in Phoenix. We were shooting an apartment complex, and I'm hovering over the pool. It's dusk. You've got the pools all lit up. You got the mountains in the background, sun going down. And I'm sitting there like the next day or two, whenever it was, I'm sitting there doing the editing, and I look at one of the pool shots, and there's a guy standing on the 3rd floor balcony with his phone, taking a picture of me, taking a picture of him. So I thought, it's like, okay, that's weird. Cause luckily he didn't have a shirt on, but at least he had more than just boxers on, because I still had to get rid of him anyway for my client. But photographically, I didn't get rid of him, make sure that's understandable. But yeah, no, it's usually I'm pretty conscientious about what I'm shooting, because that's what I do. I'm pretty anal about it. But it's just, anytime I'm working on the computer, every time I do a shot, it's fun and it's cool, and there's always something fun about it. I don't know. I'm just weird that way.
No, I think the one time I was surprised, I was actually last year. I was down at Lizard Head Pass at sunset, and I'm shooting the mountains, and I look and I see movement, a lot of white things moving. I'm like, what is up here? At this mountain pass. And when I got back, I couldn't quite tell what it was. So when I got home, I zoomed in on it. It's all grainy and it's not usable, but it's a whole herd of sheep.
Sweet.
There's actually like a little pen up there for sheep. Who knew? Nice.
Yeah. Those sheep guys go up to higher altitudes in the winter, or in the summer, not in the winter. No, that's backwards. So yeah, and they get their sheep grazed up there at high altitudes. It's nice fresh grass.
It was
Absolutely.
late season too.
Oh wow! So they were probably coming back down pretty soon.
Yeah, end of October or beginning of October. So.
Yep. Oh, beautiful colors there.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Vic, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you coming on the channel and talking about this.
Absolutely.
I think it's a lot of fun to shoot aerial shots. I shot some last weekend we had a group event, so I got a lot of campers, and I didn't fly over people, for the record, but I got a nice shot of the group around the campfire.
I think I saw that. I think, because I do follow you on Facebook. So
yeah.
I think I did see that. Did you post that one? There was like a few different. Yeah, I remember seeing that. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a lot
dusk.
of fun. Yes.
Yeah. Love dusk photography. Obviously. I mean, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Vic, great catching up with you. I really appreciate it. And
it was awesome.
Everybody else, if you have a question about drone safety, go ahead and post it in the comments, and I'll follow up. If I don't know the answer, I'll get with Vic and make sure. Yeah. Tag me in it. I'll help out as well. That's what I do. Awesome. Great. Well, thanks a lot, Vic.
Sure thing. Looking forward to next time you come to Colorado.
All righty.